Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're looking forward to the holiday season. I know I am. Uh, anyways, today I want to show you how to connect your custom domains to your site that you have deployed on Netlify, right? Say for instance, you bought your domains from Namecheap or from Godaddy and you have your sites built and deployed on Netlify and you want to use the domains that you've bought from Godaddy or from Namecheap or wherever, you want to connect it to the site you deployed on Netlify. That's what I'm going to be showing you today. That's also a good opportunity to tell you that Netlify is doing a project called Dusty Domains, where you use any of your old domains and build any site with it and deploy it to Netlify, and you will be raising money for charity for every site you deploy on Netlify. I'm going to put the link right in the description of this video so that you go ahead and check it out, and let's get started. So here I have this site that I've built, deployed on Netlify. It's just, I don't know, it's just the SvelteKit application that I have not done anything on at all. It has some to-dos and some about sections and that's it. It's a bare bones SvelteKit project that I've deployed to Netlify, and now I want to connect it to my domain that I've bought. So this is name.com. This is the domain registrar that I'm using. If I go into my account, I should see that I have a couple of domains that I've bought here. And this is the one that I want to connect with the site I showed you on Netlify right now. All right, so let's look at the documentation for configuring external DNS for custom domains on Netlify. This is the documentation page, which I'll be sure to link in the description. So if you come all the way down to configuring a domain, you'll see that this is for a subdomain. We'll get to this in due time, but in the meantime, I want to configure the Apex domain. If you're wondering what the Apex domain and the subdomain are, in this case, for instance, the domain that I have here is petcan.date. This is my Apex domain, or the naked domain, or the root domain. Different people call it different things. But the moment I add anything behind it, if I do something like www.petcan.date, it becomes that's its subdomain, right? Let me do that here. So if I do www.petcan.date, now that's a subdomain. If I do like blog, that's also a subdomain. But the Apex domain is this one, basically. So just to get that out of the way. So we will start with the Apex domain and show you how to configure it. In the meantime, the first thing I need to do is, following the documentation, is add an alias name or a name or a flattened CNAME record, point it to Netlify's Apex load balancer and save it. And that's it, basically. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me copy this actually. All right, so I'll go into my name.com platform, click on manage DNS records, which is the DNS records for this particular domain name. I'll select the a name. I'll leave the host empty and I'll put the Apex load balancer here, and I'll click on add record. And that's it. The record is added now. I'll come back later to do the one for the subdomain, but I'll just go ahead and go into my Netlify site, and actually let me copy the domain name. So back into your Netlify site, of course, you see that with our site is deployed, the next thing to do is set up a custom domain, right? So click on that and paste in the domain that you want to set up and verify that it has already been registered, and it is registered. So we go ahead and click on add domain. So as you can see, it's checking for DNS propagation for the subdomain, which I haven't added yet. So to do that, I'll come back. I'll select a CNAME now because I'm trying to add the subdomain, not the Apex domain. The host is going to be www, and the answer is going to be my Netlify subdomain, which is this one. Of course, you can change this name to make it something easier to understand on Netlify if you click on change site name, but I'm just using this one to show you an example. So I'll copy this Netlify subdomain. I'll come back into name.com. I'll put it right here, and I'll click on add record. So now I have the A record and the C record. So if I come back to my Netlify site, let me reload the page. It takes a while for the DNS to propagate, but it's super fast on Netlify. So I think that's done. So now if I click on petscan.date, it should go to my application. Would you look at that? Fantastic, right? So I'll close this out. Okay, let me show you one more thing. If you look at this, it says not secure. That's because Netlify uses Let's Encrypt. We could not provision Let's Encrypt certificate for your custom domain. So let's go ahead and do verify DNS configuration. And that is verified. And now we have HTTPS enabled for our site. So what I want to do is go ahead and click on provision certificate and send the request. So this is currently propagating. So if you don't want to use Netlify's Let's Encrypt, Netlify just uses Let's Encrypt for you under the hood, so you don't have to pay for hosting or for the SSL certificate or anything like that. So it's all like done for you, which is amazing. Otherwise, you would need to like pay for hosting on your domain registry's platform and pay for the certificate, and it costs a couple of dollars. But it's just good that Netlify gives it for you for free. And if you wanted, for whatever reason, if you wanted to provide your own certificate because maybe you've already bought an SSL certificate and some security packages from your hosting provider, you can also provision it right here. You can click on this button and then you provision your own certificate and it will be done for you. So while the DNS is propagating, I think it takes a minute or so. Should be done, yes. So now if I go to petscan.date, I should see that it's no longer, of course, it's now secured, HTTPS, and that's it basically. One other thing that I wanted to talk about or to show you is if you wanted to add a custom domain to a site on Netlify. Let me just look through my site and use one of them as an example for you. For instance, this one, right? Say that I want to set up a custom domain and I don't already have the domain bought somewhere, right? What I can do is buy my own domain directly from Netlify. And what will I do? I will say, okay, Kenny school.com, something like that. I didn't buy that. So this is available and you can register it. So this is one other way. Netlify DNS allows you to buy your own domains directly from Netlify, so you don't have to go through the process of configuring it the way we just did, right? But maybe that's a video that I have to do on its own. I just wanted to show you that if you wanted a less complex process and you haven't already bought that domain somewhere like Godaddy or name.com, you could buy it directly on Netlify and it will just work out of the box, right? You don't have to do any kind of like processes. So that's it. Just as quickly as that, I wanted to show you how that's done, what you need to do, how to get your domain names that you bought somewhere else working with your Netlify sites. So until next time.